Alrighty, yo, what is going on everybody? It's your boy Mr. DDG94 back with another reaction video. Today we're going to react to Coke versus Pepsi. Without further ado, let's get right into it. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Coke versus Pepsi is among the biggest, most direct, most long-lasting, most competitive rivalries.
I honestly thought that these two were the same company. I thought that Coca-Cola and Pepsi was under the same umbrella, but no, I was wrong. Pepsi is a juggernaut within itself, but Coca-Cola is a brand that stood the test of time, and let's just say they both worth billions. But man, I thought these two were the same because they kind of taste the same. Even though Pepsi got like a little different, got like a little kick to it and a little bit of a different aftertaste to it versus Coca-Cola. But I always thought they was the same brand. I honestly thought they was the same brand.
In business history, you would not even believe how much has been going on here. These are both companies that are probably bigger than you may realize. Fortune ranks both of them in the top 100 biggest public companies in the United States. 2 years ago, I made a video about the size of Pepsi, and then the following year, I did the same for Coca-Cola. I recommend you check them out if you want to get a fuller story behind these companies. However, in both of those videos, I intentionally avoided making direct comparisons between the two because I felt there were so many that they needed to be in their own video, and that is why I am here today. You might be surprised to hear that when measured by sales, PepsiCo is almost exactly twice as big as the Coca-Cola company. But I do need to point out that 58% of Pepsi sales come from various food brands. Most notably, they're the owners of Frito-Lay and Quaker Oats, both of which may also be bigger than you realize. Whereas Coca-Cola is laser focused on beverages. So if you do a little math, you'll see that Coca-Cola does have a bigger share of that market, which is where the entire rivalry takes place. I won't be talking about anything except beverages today. So what I want to do here is break it down by outlining 5 soda categories in which they have been competitive. I mean, most of us do view them as soda companies after all, and I want to follow that by outlining the competition in 5 other beverage categories outside of soda. I promise you, it is all going to make perfect sense as I go, starting off with colas, because this is where everything originated. Coca-Cola was the original. It was invented by John Pemberton way back in 1886, and once it started gaining popularity, about 7 years later, Caleb Bradham formulated Pepsi Cola to compete with it and hopefully attract its own customer base. I think it's interesting that neither of these inventors benefited much from their creation. It was really more of a curse than anything else. Pemberton spent 5 years struggling to get the product off the ground before selling it for an estimated $2,300. By the way, it is worth well over $200 billion today, similar to PepsiCo, and Bradham made some poor business decisions that forced him to file for bankruptcy and go back to his old job as a pharmacist. It was the subsequent owners and leaders responsible for building these brands and making them popular. By the 1930s, Coca-Cola was just light years ahead of Pepsi. They were not even in the same league, but over the next 50 years or so, Pepsi steadily gained a lot of ground by specifically trying to draw customers away from Coca-Cola. During the Great Depression, they started selling Pepsi in 12-ounce bottles for 5 cents each. Compared to Coke, it was twice as much soda for the exact same price. They advertised the value they were offering with the first ever jingle to be played nationally over the radio, and it was enough to convert a lot of customers over to Pepsi. In the 1960s, Pepsi started targeting a younger demographic with their Pepsi Generation campaign. It was basically framing Coke as the classic drink for older people, whereas Pepsi was the new hip drink for younger people. Again, it was effective in drawing customers away from Coca-Cola. In the 1970s, they started the famous Pepsi Challenge, asking people to compare Coke and Pepsi in a blind taste test, where most of the time people did say that they preferred Pepsi. Now, potentially, that may have been because Pepsi was sweeter. With only a little sip, people may have been having a positive reaction to that sweetness, but none of it really matters because the public saw that people preferred it on those commercials, and by the 1980s, Coke and Pepsi were practically neck and neck with each other. Coca-Cola was promoting themselves as the real thing, seemingly a way to convey that they were the trusted original, while Pepsi is a phony copycat, I guess.
Coca-Cola says it's the real thing. But Pepsi believes that when it comes to colas, the only real thing is taste.
In what seems like kind of a panic, Coca-Cola changed their recipe to be a little sweeter and therefore more like Pepsi and rebranded the drink as New Coke. Understandably, the public was upset with them for taking the original Coke off of the shelves, and Pepsi took advantage of that by making commercials pretty much making fun of their decision. The traditional recipe was brought back only months later as Coca-Cola Classic, and upon the return, the sales of it jumped higher than they had ever been before. Again, I have a whole video about it, but in the end, it did help Coke pull ahead of Pepsi, and to this day, Coke remains the much more popular of the two colas. So even though Pepsi has made some impressive gains on them, it's hard to deny that Coke has been the overall winner in this category. Next up on the list, I want to compare Diet Colas. And by the way, this list is going to start moving much faster at this point. In the 1960s, diet sodas were becoming the next big thing, mostly fueled by the popularity of Diet Right from the RC Cola company. It motivated Coke and Pepsi to introduce their own diet sodas.
Ew.
But there was concern about diluting the brand, so instead of calling it Diet Coke, they came out with a separate soda called Tab. But only a year later, Pepsi did in fact introduce Diet Pepsi, and despite having the Pepsi brand attached to it, Tab proved to be the better selling diet soda. Then in 1982, remember back when Coca-Cola was losing overall market share and looking for different ways to shake things up, they finally introduced Diet Coke, the second product to ever have the Coke branding on it. Not surprisingly, it was a big success, one of the biggest product launches ever, and for a few years, starting in 2011, Diet Coke was actually outselling regular Pepsi. So again, Coke has been the winner in this category. The next one to compare is Lemon Lime. See, in the early 1960s, the success of 7-Up, which was from a different company, motivated both Coke and Pepsi to come out with their own lemon lime sodas. Pepsi launched one called Team with 2 E's, while Coke introduced their iconic Sprite. I don't think I have to tell you that Sprite was by far the more popular of the two, so when everything was escalating in the 1980s, Pepsi could...
That's why he's the GOAT! The GOAT!
You already know I'm a Sprite person. I don't fuck with no Coke or no Pepsi. I only fuck with Coke or Pepsi when I'm mixing it with my liquor. You know what I'm saying? Other than that, I don't fuck with that shit. I drink Sprite. I drink Sprite and 7-Up. I don't fuck with anything else. Mountain Dew got a nasty aftertaste to it. I don't fuck with Mountain Dew. Mountain Dew just got a nasty aftertaste to it. I don't like Mountain Dew. I don't like the aftertaste being in my mouth like that. Pause. Yeah, so I'm like a Sprite, 7-Up, Dr. Pepper type of guy. I like those three. Those are only 3 sodas I really drink. I don't drink no other sodas really. It's those 3 and those 3 only.
Couldn't just sit back and let Sprite control the lemon lime market, so they discontinued Team and introduced Slice. The big thing that made it stand out from the others was that it was made from 10% fruit juice. It was thought to be such a revolutionary idea, just putting fruit juice inside of soft drinks, and people responded to it. Slice was starting to gain some traction. Now, this gets interesting because Coca-Cola happened to already own a popular brand of fruit juices called Minute Maid. So the following year, they came out with a line of Minute Maid branded sodas that also contained 10% fruit juice. So then people were choosing between Slice, which was a brand that didn't even exist a couple years earlier, and Minute Maid, a brand that had been well known and trusted for decades. People quickly started shifting away from Slice, and it turns out that the 10% fruit juice thing was more of a gimmick anyway. People stopped caring about it, and by the end of that decade, there were no juice in any of these sodas. Without a gimmick, Slice struggled to compete with Sprite, I guess for the rest of its existence. Pepsi replaced it with Sierra Mist in the year 2000, which also struggled against Sprite, until it was replaced by Starry in 2023. So again, Pepsi has struggled to compete against Coke in this category.
Damn.
Next up is Cherry. Not too much to say about it, but again, near the height of the Cola Wars in 1985, Coca-Cola introduced Cherry Coke, the third product to ever carry the Coke name.
I ain't gonna lie. Cherry Coke and Cherry Pepsi, fire. Cherry Coke and Cherry Pepsi is fire, bro. I don't care what y'all say, bro. Cherry Coke, Cherry Pepsi, cherry Dr. Pepper. Hey, yo, cherry Dr. Pepper is the GOAT. I don't care what nobody say. But cherry Coke and cherry Pepsi, fire. Not gonna lie to you. If I had to, Dr. Pepper is the ultimate one I would go with. I would go with cherry Dr. Pepper any day of the week. But Pepsi is definitely a close second. Coke is fire too, but from a taste perspective, I just prefer Dr. Pepper. I don't know. I'm a Dr. Pepper guy.
The following year, Pepsi expanded their line of slice sodas to offer other fruit flavors, including cherry. But since the Slice brand was struggling so much, they quickly discontinued the cherry flavor when they introduced Wild Cherry Pepsi only 2 years later. That's about all I have to say about cherry colas. It was yet another battle between the two that, yet again, I would have to say was won by Coke.
Clean
Finally,
sweep.
Finishing off this list, it's a big one, citrus. For this, I'm talking about those highly caffeinated, high-energy, extreme drinks, much like Mountain Dew.
Ew.
It was a comparatively small brand when it was acquired by Pepsi in 1964 that they quickly built into a national success. Sales of it quadrupled within the first few years of owning it. Early on, their advertising was centered around these, I guess you would say, hillbilly-type characters, being originated from Tennessee, but in the 1970s, they started targeting more active, younger people, and that helped it become the fastest-growing soft drink in the country. In the 1990s, it became the most popular non-cola soft drink in the US right as they became an early sponsor of the X Games. It had become a multi-billion-dollar brand, and you better believe that Coca-Cola wasn't going to sit back and let that happen unanswered. So, in 1997, they introduced Surge as a direct competitor. Rumor has it that internally, they were developing it under the name Mountain Dew Killer. Much like Mountain Dew, it was highly caffeinated, bright green in color, and advertised to be high energy and extreme. Coca-Cola was saying that it was their biggest launch since Diet Coke, spending $50 million to advertise it that year, including a pricey Super Bowl ad and millions of samples and coupons. I think it's funny that when it was first announced, a spokesman for Pepsi said, "Bring it on, we look forward to the competition." It shows how confident they were, and it seems to have been justified, considering Surge was mostly discontinued after 5 years, and Mountain Dew remains a massive brand. In 2005, Coca-Cola tried again with a similar product called Volt that was also discontinued after a few years.
That.
Yeah, so the tables are...
I remember Volt. Volt was fucking nasty, bro. That shit was fucking disgusting, bro. I don't know what that aftertaste was, bro, but that shit was fucking nasty, bro. Coca-Cola, y'all should be ashamed of yourselves for putting that shit up out there. Real talk, that was the nastiest fucking soda you could ever put. I remember that shit too. I remember that shit. That was the cheapest soda you could get, bro. That was the cheapest soda you could get, bro. The cheapest soda you could get at the fucking store, bro. They made them so fucking cheap at the grocery stores, bro. You go into Kroger's or Pick a Save, whatever it's called where you live, or Walmart or Target. That was the cheapest soda because it was sitting right there at the registers too. You get it out that little refrigerator or whatever, that little cooler or whatever. Be like, it's only 85 cents. Be like, okay, you can get it. You know what I'm saying? That shit was 85 cents. I remember that shit too. It was 85 cents because all the other sodas was $1. But that shit was 85 cents. Put it on the counter. You buy it. I bought that shit. I drunk that shit. I couldn't even finish the bottle. I said, "Mama, this nasty." She was like, "Well, why you get it?" It was like, "Cause it was cheap, and I knew you would buy it." And she was like, and I was like, "Here, drink it." She drunk it. She said, she tossed it out the window. We both was in agreement. That shit was fucking nasty, bro. Hell no, bro. That Volt shit was fucking disgusting, bro. That was some of the nastiest soda I ever took. Who the fuck said that was a good idea? That aftertaste was fucking nasty, bro. I'm telling y'all, dog. It's just some of these sodas just got nasty aftertastes to them, bro. And then it be stuck in your mouth. Pause. It be stuck in your mouth, but...
You got mail.
Shut up. So, bro, it be like that, bro. That shit was nasty, bro.
turned on this one a bit, where Pepsi is the company with the more popular, longer-lasting product. Alright, this is going to be a long video, but to give a fuller picture of this rivalry, I think it's important to run through some of the non-soda categories in which they have been competing. These are some of the more unexpected areas, but still very much on a large scale. Starting off with iced tea. In 1991, Pepsi announced a joint venture with Lipton, the biggest tea company in the country, where they have since produced billions of ready-to-drink teas under the name
I don't drink tea. I hate tea.
The following
I hate tea. I don't see how anybody can drink tea. Now, I fuck with Brisk, but I only fuck with the juice flavored drinks. I don't fuck with the tea at all. I hate tea with a passion. I don't see how anybody could drink tea, bro. I tried to drink tea one time, bro. A couple of years ago with my granddad, bro. He gave me some tea. I was like, you know what? I ain't had this shit since I was a little kid. The last time I had that shit, I threw that shit up immediately. I spit that shit out and I threw it up immediately because tea is just fucking disgusting. Anybody that drinks tea deserves. Unless you about 45 and up. If you are under 45 years old and you drinking tea, you a demon, bruh. For real. You a fucking demon, bruh. Ain't no fucking way. Ain't no fucking way. I'm telling y'all, bruh. Tea is fucking disgusting, bro. I hate tea with a passion, bro. I will throw up tea in a heartbeat, dog. Do not ever give me tea. Tea is nasty. Tea is not for me, bro. That shit is fucking disgusting, bro. But I drink them juice flavored brisk, like the lemonade, the pink lemonade, the blue raspberry, the fruit punch. I drink those, but if you give me some tea, I'm gonna bust you upside your motherfucking head. For real.
Here, not coincidentally, Coca-Cola announced a joint venture with Nestle, where they have since made products under the names Nestea and Nescafe. That venture was dissolved in 2018, while the one with Pepsi continues, but Coca-Cola has also been the owner of the brands Gold Peak Tea, Fuse, and Honest Tea. Another category would be water. In the late 1990s, bottled water was considered to be the fastest growing segment in the industry.
Bro, all these bottled waters, like the mainline ones, all of them are detrimental to your health at this point in time. So I don't even think we can talk about these waters because all of them are detrimental to your health, bro. What the fuck? Motherfuckers got metals and all type of harmful shit in them now. You can't even drink water properly no more, bro. What the fuck? They done turned Aquafina into Flint, Michigan water. Shout out to everybody in Flint, Michigan, though.
Industry. So Pepsi started selling Aquafina nationally, and
that
it has since become the best-selling brand based on volume. And shortly after, not surprisingly, Coca-Cola launched their brand called Dasani,
and they'll kill you too.
Became very popular despite some criticisms and setbacks. In 2007, Coca-Cola also bought the company behind the brands Vitamin Water and Smart Water.
And 50 Cent got rich off
the
that.
New big thing has been sparkling water. So in 2018, Pepsi launched Bubbly, that right away they expected to be their next billion-dollar brand, and Coke responded 2 years later by...
I hate the sparkling water because when we had the flavored water, the flavored soda water or whatever, them shits used to be like the cheapest drink you could get at Walmart, bro. I used to have my mom buy a whole bunch of them for me. My mom used to buy a whole bunch of them things for me, dude. For real. My mom used to buy a whole bunch of them things for me, bro. Them shits was like 45 cents to 50 cents. So I have like a gang of them. I had like 10 of them hoes, bro. 50 cents, 50 to 40, 45 to 50 cents for them things. Them things was cheap. And then all of a sudden, they started to boom up in popularity. You can't even... Shit's $1 now. What the fuck, bro? Shit's $1 now, bro. This used to be the cheapest drink you could get. Now them shit's $1, bro. The fuck, man. Y'all just be making anything popular now. Can't nothing be cheap no more. Cause y'all niggas gotta be boosted up in popularity and then make a big ass supply and demand for it. And because there's a big ass supply and demand for it now the shit gotta go up in price, man. Let some shit be underground, bro. Everybody can't, man. Fuck y'all.
Launching AHA. Going back to the list, juices has been another big one. As I already hinted at, Coca-Cola bought Minute Maid all the way back in 1960, and 34 years later put a lot of money into introducing a new juice brand alongside it called Fruitopia.
I remember them. I remember these, bro. These are fucking disgusting, bro. These are fucking disgusting. I remember these. Fucking disgusting. I never in my life again will I ever touch these again. Never. These are fucking disgusting.
Fruitopia. It took some time.
They way too sweet. They was way too sweet. Way too much sugar, way too sweet, bro. This shit was fucking, nah, bro.
For Pepsi to respond to all of this, but they did it in a big way. In 1998, they bought Minute Maid's biggest competitor, Tropicana, for $3.3 billion, their biggest acquisition ever at the time. The main distinction between them was that Tropicana was known for making juices that were not from concentrate, whereas everything Minute Maid made was from concentrate. In the early 2000s, Coca-Cola launched yet another brand called Simply Orange, but discontinued Fruitopia,
as they should.
In 2021, Pepsi sold Tropicana for, oddly enough, exactly what they paid for it, along with some other brands. So the battle on that front has calmed down quite a bit for the moment. Next up on the list is sports drinks. I know it just keeps going, right? But these two are, by far, the biggest makers of sports drinks. In the 1980s, Coca-Cola introduced Powerade that was meant to compete against the already dominant Gatorade that was...
Hey, man. I'ma just keep it real, bro. Gatorade, Powerade, they both the same fucking shit, bro. Let's be real, bro. They both the same fucking shit, bro. No matter how you look at it, they still the same shit. So you can sit up here and be like, oh, well, you know, I like Powerade. Powerade ain't nothing but the... Bro, it's the same shit, bro. If you drink both of them, yeah, they got a little bit of a different taste, but they both the same fucking shit, bro. And they really don't do what they advertise to do, bro. For real.
Was made by a separate company. In the 1990s, Pepsi introduced All Sport to compete against the other two.
Hey, them was good, though.
Powerade and All Sport.
Hey, All Sport was good, though. That shit was good. I don't know why they discontinued it, but that shit was good.
Have never done a great job when compared to Gatorade. And trust me, it is not often that Coke and Pepsi are trailing far behind a third more successful product, but...
Bruh, Gatorade had Michael Jordan. Do you need to say more? They had fucking Michael Jordan, remember? If I could be like Mike, wanna be like Mike. Come on, man. There was nothing you could do, bruh. There was nothing you could do. They had Michael Jordan. There was nothing you could do. Powerade had LeBron. Okay. Who the fuck was drinking Powerade when LeBron was endorsing them? Nobody. Exactly, bro. Nigga, it was nigga Dwayne Wade was on Gatorade. Was a Gatorade athlete, bro. And if they wanted to, they could put Michael Jordan in another commercial. They got the bag. You know they would do it. And you know he would do it, especially with LeBron being a part of the Powerade. You know he would have been petty. And if they would have got Kobe to do a Gatorade commercial, it would have been raps. You already know.
It's because they were both focused on other areas, and by the time they started focusing on sports drinks, Gatorade was already way too far ahead.
Yeah.
By 2001, Gatorade controlled 86% of the market compared to 11% for Powerade and 3% for All Sport. Pepsi was clearly struggling there, so their plan was to sell All Sport and buy Quaker Oats in their new biggest acquisition ever because they were the owners of Gatorade. Yeah, so ever since then, Pepsi has been in behind Gatorade, that has obviously maintained a distant lead over Coca-Cola's Powerade. Though, in 2021, Coca-Cola did close that gap quite a bit when they bought Body Armor for $5.6 billion in their biggest brand acquisition ever. So even though Pepsi remains on top in that market, Coca-Cola has clearly not been given.
I'll say this: Body Armor is all right. It's way more. It's way more juicier. I'll say it's more juicier. I'll say so. It does have a better taste to it than Gatorade does, but it still ain't fucking with no Gatorade. Come on now.
Giving up. The last category that I want to compare today is energy drinks. They're both the owners of multiple
ain't sports drinks and energy drinks the same fucking thing?
In 2015, Coca-Cola bought a minority stake in Monster, where they combined their existing energy drinks. In 2020, on the other end, Pepsi bought Rockstar for $3.
Both of them are fucking disgusting. I think all energy drinks, period, are fucking disgusting. Monster, Rockstar, what's the other one? NOS, all that shit is fucking disgusting. I'm probably losing. I'm probably never gonna get sponsored by any of these fucking people. These people are never gonna let me be sponsored. They're like, wow, you just hate all of our brands, huh? I guess we'll never work with you. Yep, I guess so.
$0.85 billion. So yet again, it has been a multi-billion-dollar battle between these two. Let me know in the comments, what do you think of this extensive rivalry between Coke and Pepsi? Does it go much deeper than you thought it did? Because it has been happening in areas that aren't necessarily obvious. I mean, it's not just Coke versus Pepsi, it's Surge versus Mountain Dew, or Dasani versus Aquafina,
both
or
of them
Gatorade
are terrible.
Versus Powerade.
They both taste the
so
same.
Much more than that. Also, I have made quite a few videos surrounding these topics already, but I think there is still so much more that could be talked about in detail. Maybe Mountain Dew or Rockstar, I don't know. Let me know what you would be interested in.
It is what it is. But anyway, so that's just gonna about do it for this one, man. Coke versus Pepsi. Wow. We damn near 30 minutes into this fucking video. It's a 14-minute video. We damn near 30 minutes in. Damn, that's crazy. But anyways, that's just gonna about do it for this one. I'll see you all in the next video. Tell me which one is y'all favorite. Tell me which one is y'all favorite in the comment section below. Do you like Coke or do you like Pepsi? Let me know what yours is in the comment section below. I don't like neither one. Like I said, I only mix one of these. If it depends, like whatever is nearby, whatever is the closest I can get. I only mix these with my liquor. That's the only time I ever drink these is when I'm mixing with my liquor, and I don't even drink like that, so that's a rare occasion. But outside of that, if I did have to say there was one I really fucked with, I would probably say vanilla Coke. Vanilla Coke was the best one out of all of them. I don't know why they discontinued vanilla Coke. That was the best. Man, bring back vanilla Coke, man. Fuck y'all for discontinuing that shit.